welcome to the Faith, Fish, and Feathers podcast.
This is our first episode. We're going to be talking about fishing, hunting. We're going to be talking about agricultural science, hunting pressure. We're going to tell hunting stories. We're going to have a couple hunting guides on to tell some of their own stories, give us some advice, tips, anything along the lines of that might help out other hunters that are listening.
Got a lot of friends in the guide industry. It's going to be really informative. Got a lot of plans for the future. Obviously, this is first episode, so just trying to feel out what direction we're going to go and what we're going to do and what this is going to become. We have big plans for this, so hopefully it'll take off. But I guess we should just dive right in. I don't see any point in delaying where we're going. So let's lead off with a little bit about ourselves. So my name's Caleb. I'm a hunter. I'm a fisherman and a trapper. Number one, first and foremost, I turkey hunt. That's my bread and butter, I suppose. There's nothing that gets me more than a longbeard gobbling back to me in hardwood or on a old hayfield. I enjoy that a lot, and that's what I kind of revolve my whole spring around. I'm a big waterfowl hunter too. I do dabble in some guiding, but it's a good time. We do enjoy it. We do shoot a lot of ducks and a lot of geese. Not as good as what we could be, but we do our best.
I think it's important to know that Caleb isn't just an avid hunter. He's a guide also. So he does take a lot of people out on their first hunts. He creates a lot of love for the sport for a lot of people who've never even been introduced to it before that are just trying it.
I mean, that's what it's about. If you're not passing it along, I mean, you're just being greedy with your knowledge. There's no point at that. There's so many people out there, so many young kids that don't get to experience this stuff, or people that don't have someone in their family to teach them this stuff. I mean, what's the point in knowing this stuff and not being willing to pass it on? And I think for the majority of hunters, they are willing to pass it on. And for me, that takes shape in guiding and also in youth. I do a lot of youth outreaches and a lot of taking young men and young ladies hunting for the first time and seeing them shoot their first turkeys or first ducks or deer is something that will always be near and dear to my heart.
And I'm a pretty good example of that. I mean, I didn't even get into hunting deer until late teens, and for me, it's important to know I've shot 2 deer. I went out hunting for deer twice with the intention of killing one. I took a doe and I took a 6-point, and deer hunting is not my bread and butter.
Yeah, rookie numbers over there.
I love the taste of venison, and I can cook up a mean backstrap steak, medium rare. Very, very good. Very delicious. I love cooking wild game. I could care less than hunt deer. I am very much a feathers. I hunt a lot of ducks, a lot of geese, specifically with Caleb. I've shot a turkey, but I have a tattoo of a turkey on my back shoulder because turkeys are my bread and butter.
Yeah, I'm definitely glad to have James, hunting with me and stuff. He's actually come along quite a bit. The last few years, he's definitely grown as a hunter. This year, he actually expanded into waterfowl. So tell us, for those of you that don't know, obviously, tell us what grabbed you about waterfowl.
So my biggest thing with hunting was I've worked a full-time job since I was at the age of probably 13. I never really had time to just go out and sit and wait for that deer to take a couple and fill the freezer. We were never in that much need of meat. We were on a farm, so we had plenty of meat that we grew ourselves. So there's no real need for venison. It was more so I just liked the taste of it. So I didn't have the time to take away from my work to go out and sit. So I was just kind of drawn away from hunting. I mean, it wasn't really my thing. Like, I would do it. But the first time Caleb took me out, goose hunting, went out in the field. I didn't know what to expect. He gave me his father's gun, and he kind of explained what was going to happen, and I just went with it. And the second we had geese flying above us, I was physically shaking. Like I was uncontrollably shaking inside that layout blind, and I can't explain it to anyone else aside from the adrenaline rush you would get from shooting a deer, except as soon as you're done shooting them geese, you get to hop back in and do it until you hit your limit. So just not sitting there for hours, for days going for that deer. You can go goose hunting every single morning for a week and you can get a limit every single time. Just the amount of shooting that you do versus just sitting there and shooting once for your deer. It was just a completely different ball game for me, and that's what really got me into hunting.
Yeah, I think too. I think to put into perspective too, for anybody that's not an avid waterfowl hunter, what James said about like going out and shooting limits every single time, there's definitely a line of scouting that has to get done. There's a lot of work and a lot of road mileage and a lot of doors that get knocked. Yeah. If you're not willing to put in that kind of time, you're not going to be able to shoot geese like that, and especially honkers. They're a hard animal to hunt, and people don't really consider that a difficult animal to hunt. People see the decoys in the field. They see the videos online of birds getting shot.
They don't see the weeks and months of work put into that beforehand.
Not even.
Scouting out for hours, the fields, knocking on the farmer's door, asking permission, putting money down on the field. Like, you know there's geese in that field. And that farmer's just a little stubborn, so you got to throw him a little cash to get that field. And it could easily go wrong, as in there's this geese in that field. There's 400 geese in that field for a straight week, and you want to bring your best friend hunting for the first time, and you take him out there, you threw 200 down just for that field, and they're gone.
No, that's 100% normal. It happens all the time where geese will be in a spot for days, a week even. I mean, this year we even had a field where the field was loaded for 3 weeks. Tons of birds. It grew every day, and the day we hunted it, they switched feeds. Geese are one of the most frustrating animals to hunt, especially when they've been hunted. Early season, they're a lot simpler to get to drop in the decoys, but late season, man, them birds are so smart.
They're so easily educated.
Everybody's a goose hunter during September because there's no bow season. So here in Michigan, where we're from, bow season starts October 1st. And once October 1st hits, waterfowl hunting, a lot of guys just drop right off the map when it comes to waterfowl hunting, unless they have a really good feed that they own or whatever, and they might hunt two times a year. In Michigan, September 1st is early goose season. That's when it starts. So everybody during that time of year is just pounding the goose fields, and permissions are hard to get. Like, it's tough. So, being experienced and going out and hunting birds like that and hunting pressured birds, because everybody's a goose hunter during September. Even the bad goose hunters, they're all goose hunters. So
they're taking shots at them birds that you want to get next week, and now they're educating them birds.
And they're shooting at them a mile high. They're not dropping them in a decoy.
Oh, yeah.
They don't care. So we have to, learn how to hunt and get experienced and stuff, and understand that, those birds get really pressured. And geese are just a prime example of something that people do not consider a hard game animal to kill, but in the reality, they are very difficult. Waterfowl, for me, I didn't start waterfowl hunting until I was about 17 years old. I am 25 now, so the draw for that was the fact that my mom actually made my dad promise a long time ago that he wouldn't hunt waterfowl. She loves ducks and geese. It's one of her favorite animals in the world. So she told my dad, like, I do not want you hunting waterfowl. You can hunt anything else. Just don't hunt waterfowl. I don't want you to do that. So he agreed for a long time, but then I hit the age where I wanted to hunt, and I got into with some buddies that just really liked the waterfowl hunt and stuff, and I was like, man, I want to get into this. So I started waterfowl hunting, just dabbling mostly. I wasn't an avid guy. I would go stand on a beaver pond and shoot a wood duck here and there, or I might get a goose or whatever, Diving into it was the first time I ever done it was actually at a coworker's cornfield. He actually invited me to go on an actual goose hunt. That was the end of it for me. My head went under the water, and I was like, man, I'm going to do this forever. It was so much fun. Now, fast forward, years. Now I've got, property of my own, ground that I've accumulated, people that I've, made good relationships with and connections with, to the point where, I can be a successful goose hunter with lots of ground in areas that, in northern Michigan where I'm at. But my dad actually ended up getting permission from my mom to actually start joining me because I was doing it. And then that's kind of where the gear started showing up. We started getting decoys, boats, like everything that you might need for waterfowl. We're accumulated it now, And, but that was why I didn't waterfowl hunt earlier in life. Now, I've always turkey hunted. I've always deer hunted. I shot my first turkey at 10 years old. I shot my first deer at 12. It's just, I've grown up hunting. That's not something that's foreign to me at all. Now, I have accumulated other types of hunting and stuff, and I've taken up trapping, and what else can be said about trapping, honestly, one of the most effective ways of keeping fur bearers down. If you're a turkey hunter and you're a waterfowl hunter, you're a bird hunter of any kind, grouse, pheasants, and if you're not trapping nest-raiding predators, what are you doing, You can't love bird hunting and then be against trapping or not at least dabble into it a little bit. Especially if you own personal property, you definitely should be getting into trapping. A management tool, oh my goodness, just so effective. But yeah, so that's kind of sums up who we are, what we know, kind of. I mean, we know a lot more, but obviously we can't put it all into one episode here. So
especially the first might scare you all away.
yeah. So I think we'll dive into maybe talking about a hunting story that we really enjoy, want to go and bring up, I guess, or let you guys know. We're normal people. We're just hunters. We're blue collar hunters. We work 40 hours a week or more, work overtime, and on our free time we're hunting. That's what we're doing. So I'll go first on this one. So we hunt ducks. We hunt ducks a lot.
Oh yeah.
In the fall, we're like 2-3 days a week. We're hunting ducks, and in the mornings whenever we can. And if you're working second shift or whatever, that makes it pretty easy to go do. But one of my favorite things to go do in the whole world is duck hunt. So we go to a wildlife management area, not too far away from here. I won't mention the name. I don't want the place flooded. It already is, but
yeah.
We hunt a management area around here, and it's a draw hunt. And we go to this place quite a bit, and we actually had a really good morning one morning. We were shooting quite a few ducks, and we had a pair of teal actually come over the top of our decoys and land on the far side of our decoys. So I tell them, all right, let's kill them. We're standing in corn. We come out, or we point the guns up out of the corn, and we start shooting these ducks. Well, James dumps three shells into these 2 ducks.
And I'm watching this duck, right? My bead is right on him. I'm watching the water splash around this duck like it is just tanking these shots.
Both ducks.
Well, I shot at one the entire time, and
I'm
one tanked all 3.
We're blowing up the water at both of these ducks. I mean, they're on the water. We were water swatting. We're not too proud to water swat around here. So
they didn't give us a chance. The second they came through, they landed. There was no.
And so we water swat these ducks. He dumps 3 shells into these ducks. I dump 2 at them, and both of them don't even care. And they both take up to get off flying. I got 1 shell left in the gun, so I'm all right. This bird starts to get up off the water, and I shoot, and I dump the one down. Still not, fully dead. And so James says, all right, I'll go grab the cripple. Goes off across the water, and I see him get over there to where I told him, he went into this little clump of grass right there. And he's all right. So he goes over and gets into the clump of grass a little bit. Bird comes out of the other side of the grass, probably 4 foot away, 5 foot away. I don't even know how far. It wasn't very far.
Now, mind you, keep in mind, okay, it's still in the grass for me. Caleb's probably a good 30, 40 yards away, so he's seeing it, but I can't. So I see is grass move.
So he shoots his duck, grabs the duck, brings it back, comes back to me, and I hold the duck in my hand, and corn is falling out of the duck's gullet. He shot this bird and tore it open so bad because he point blank shot this thing. And he's a new duck. He's a new duck hunter, so he didn't know any better. But there's corn falling out of the cavity of this duck that he just shot. And dude, I'm dying laughing. I couldn't contain how funny that was to me. I mean, duck's dead. There's nothing you can do. I'm not gonna say you're gonna escape the reality of hunting. This is what we do. There's no point in sugarcoating it.
We do our best to get humane kills, but
absolutely.
When you're new, you don't always get it first try. We do our absolute best to learn from experiences like this. I mean, I've done that a total of 3 times. I 1 goose and 2 duck.
It's not something
we intentionally try and do.
Every single waterfowl hunter, I don't care who you are, you're shooting volleys into geese and ducks, you're going to have cripples. You're going to have birds that get away from you. That's just normal. That's going to happen. You try not to let it happen, but it does happen. So, but this happened. We killed the cripple, gets the bird back, and it's just corn falling out of this bird's gullet. And out of this hole that he shot this bird with a wad. The little teal. So I'm sitting there just dying laughing. To me, it was so funny because he's just so new. He had no understanding of what he had done. And I'm just sitting there laughing, thinking, what in the crud, dude? He didn't want to go up and wring its neck or anything like that. He just blows the thing to smithereens 4 foot away from the end of his barrel. So that one for me is really memorable for me because watching him get to have actually a decent duck hunt and then just having the laughs of having that whole situation go down was fun was just so much fun to me. And we'll have that memory for a good long time. It'll be there forever.
We talk about it probably every time we're together.
Oh, it's
a story that we like to bring up. We have a lot of stories like that. That's just one of the best things about hunting. That's what really got me into goose hunting was the first time Caleb took me on a goose hunt. There wasn't a lot of geese. We were in, I wouldn't say a bad field. I mean, we got three geese.
We shot enough of them. I mean, there was probably 60 birds in the field, and it's super early September, so I mean, the feeds then are just small family groups anyway. We had that morning that we actually shot that teal that the story came from, we actually killed a black duck that morning too, which was really cool. That was awesome.
That was really fun. I almost ruined that for him too.
Yeah.
I almost recreated what had happened.
I shot this black duck, roll the black duck over. Black duck's deader than a doornail on the water. It's just twitching on top of the water.
I thought it was trying to fly.
He sees the thing flopping around on the water and decides, you know what? We're going to shoot it again. So he just shoots the thing again on the water. And I'm like, no! I'm going to mount that. Don't shoot that again. Like, I already killed him. He's dead. And, yeah. I ended up going out there. He didn't tear him up, so I ended up, he's getting mounted. It's a pretty cool bird. I think black ducks are probably one of my favorite ducks ever. I love them. They're a really cool duck. All right, James, let's hear from you. What's your memorable hunting story? Bring it up.
So I don't mean to offend you or hurt your feelings, but my most memorable hunt was not actually with you.
Yeah?
It was with my significant other, my beautiful Lauren. She had went out turkey hunting for a plentiful handful of years and had never gotten anything. And Caleb could tell that she was bummed, so he had took her out, and I don't know too much about it. I just knew that they had got a turkey. I had got plenty of videos and pictures, and it was amazing. And she had a beautiful smile on her face.
Me and my wife and Lauren, yeah, we went out and actually called in a longbeard. She'd been doing it for years, and we actually killed him right in the decoys. It was a good time.
So I'm like, okay, I want to try this. So me and Lauren go out, and it's the first day, and we don't get anything. And when I tell you, it was fun. I've never had so much fun just sitting there doing absolutely nothing in the cold. We had seen a couple does. We had seen a couple does come in, and then a couple turkeys come in, a couple hens got real close to the does, and the does just freaked out about it. That was kind of fun to watch. And then from across the pond, we had seen the fattest hen I have ever seen. If I had to guess, it was probably up in like the 40, 50 pounds. Like, it was just huge. No, I'm talking like it was huge.
Just
like
girthy.
Oh, just fat old hen. And we're like, that's a tom. We get on the binoculars and we're like, oh, that's just a really, really fat hen. So that was fun.
I remember pictures of her. Yeah, she was huge.
Oh yeah, huge. And then, so we didn't get anything that day. I wasn't discouraged at all like normal. I'm like, all right, tomorrow's the day. So we get out there the next morning, and I don't remember exactly what time it was. It was probably a little after noon if I had to guess. We had just went up for lunch and then came back. We were sitting out there for a little bit, and I actually got put in the corner. I was speaking a little too loud, so Lauren had put me in the corner. And as she put me in the corner, and I was sitting there, I kid you not, with my nose in the corner of this blind, I was in timeout. We heard a turkey fly above. It had flew off the ground above the blind we were sitting in. And we're like, okay, this turkey's around right now. So I was not put in timeout anymore, and we were ready to shoot. And not too long after, we had I think it was 2 hens, and the tom I ended up shooting, and they were just out of range behind some brush. Like we were watching them for a good 10 minutes as they were coming in. We'd give them a little call every now and then, and then he ended up splitting off and coming towards my one shooting lane out of the whole woods in that area that we had for him. And he was just stepping off a little bit. He wasn't leaving them. So I had the red dot on him, and we're sitting there, and I had to have had that red dot on him behind some brush, just waiting for him to take that last final step for probably a good 2 minutes, and it felt like an eternity. And I was waiting for him, and he took a step out to where I could have a shot, but it would have been a little questionable. And what I had thought I heard Lauren say was shoot him. What she had really said was let him take another step. I don't know how I heard that, but that's what I heard. So as she was saying take another, I shot. And he was down. That was it. And that was where the love for turkey turkey on came in. And that's just probably one of my favorite stories was shooting that turkey with her. I ended up smoking the whole breast, and I basically just passed a big hunk of smoked breast around to my family, and everyone took a bite, and it was gone before it got back to me.
Yeah, that's the stuff that we create. We create memories. That's what a lot of this podcast is going to be about. We're just going to be, we're going to get a lot of guests in. We're going to have a lot of really serious discussion. We're going to have a lot of educational stuff that's going to happen on this podcast. Right now, we're just trying to kind of, let you know who we are and what we do.
Give you a feel of kind of who we are, so you know who you're listening to,
Yeah, absolutely.
You don't feel like you're talking or listening to a complete stranger.
We're not we're not fake hunters. We're not TV hunters. We're not looking to get, we're not looking to get rich. We're not looking to get anything out of this. We just want to be relatable to you guys, to who you are as a hunter, and to the blue collar hunter. That's what we do here. It's me and James are as blue collar as it gets when it comes to hunting. We hunt when we're not working, and that's just what we do here. It's what we enjoy, and we kind of want to pass that around. We know a lot of you do too. We know you enjoy hunting. We know you enjoy fishing. And there's going to be a lot of stuff that comes up here, a lot of serious discussion. There's going to be educational discussion. There's going to be some funny stuff.
There's going to be lots of jokes, lots of stories. We're going to have quite a few friends on here telling their own hunting stories.
Yeah, I mean, and in all honesty, we're going to have stories so often. I mean, we're idiots when our ladies aren't around. That's just
that's just the bare truth of it.
It really is.
And we know there's a lot of you out there that just want to, maybe you're a husband, and your wife doesn't like to talk about hunting. You don't got any friends that hunt. Maybe you just want to listen to some hunting stories and feel like you're talking to a couple other friends that were out hunting with you. Just enjoying some stories, or maybe you're someone looking to expand your knowledge. Everyone's got knowledge they can pass down. And I know there's going to be a lot of people out there like me that have just started getting into hunting, or want to take that next step and get into hunting. And maybe we can help you. Maybe we can't. We got to get out there and try.
Yeah, and for all you young hunters, don't be upset because you make mistakes. There's so many people out there that make people feel so bad when they make a mistake, when they wound a deer, they cripple up a goose. I mean, obviously, we don't try to do that, but it does happen. And I don't want young hunters to be turned away from hunting or from what we do here as outdoorsmen because they mess up and they make a mistake like that. Obviously, it sucks. We all hate it, but it's not something to sit here and just turn away from the sport. If you love it, you love it. And you love everything that comes with it. And obviously, there's stuff that sucks, but you still have to learn from it and learn from our mistakes. I think, for me personally, I think this podcast for me is just, it's something that I want people to take. If you're going to walk away from anything, I want you to walk away from the fact that anybody can do what we do. And we all just love the outdoors. We're all just trying to do the same thing out here. We're all just trying to live this life one day at a time, get out of work on Friday, and enjoy Saturday mornings and Sunday afternoons and Sunday mornings. And, we're big bird hunters. That's where the feathers comes in on our podcasts. We hunt birds. We do. And you're going to probably hear a lot of bird talk. I know that, in our faith, we're both believers in Jesus Christ. And if anything else, I want you to hear us, and I want you to hear him through us. And I'm sorry if that's not something that you believe, but that's something that we believe. And it's a strong foundation in who we are as people and as hunters.
It was very adamant that me and Caleb were talking about that if we were going to start a hunting podcast, that had to be included. Yeah, it's just who we are. If we excluded that, we wouldn't be doing our job as Christians for spreading the word. It's if we have this amazing outlet where we can reach so many people through our stories of what our life is, it would be a waste if we didn't use all of our resources.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think I'm not going to deny Christ through this podcast. I'm not going to deny Christ in front of people, because if I do that, then he's going to deny me, and I'm not going to do that. I don't want to go through that myself, and I want you guys to learn that, this is everybody here. Whether you have faith in Jesus Christ or not, I want you to know that he loves you, he died for you, and that if you're not ready to take that step right now, he's ready and waiting when you are, and that's just who he is. Another thing about this podcast is it's not going to be political. We're not doing none of this he said, she said, liberal, conservative. We're not getting into any of that.
We're talking about faith, fish, feathers, and antlers ain't included, but I guarantee you that's going to be in the discussion.
Oh, there's going to be some trap talk too. That's who we are. And just wanted to, give you guys a grasp of what this is going to be, who we are, what Faith, Fish, and Feathers is all about. We're going to be having a guest on the show, hopefully here in a few weeks. We're going to be having a great guest. He is the owner-operator of Rain Guided Outdoors, Ryan Bowman. I'm hoping to have him on the show here really soon. We're hopefully going to film a couple of episodes with him. And then go from there. We'll see where it goes, and hopefully we'll be able to climb in what we do here and get bigger, and hopefully teach a lot of people some things, and hopefully you guys learn a few things, you guys that are listening, and hopefully get a few laughs along the way, and maybe laugh at us and laugh with us sometimes.
More than likely laugh at me, laugh with you.
Yeah, well, I mean, maybe.
And it all goes hand in hand. I don't know a lot of hunters out there that do it, and I didn't do it until I started hunting with Caleb. But there's nothing like being out, almost chest deep in water, getting ready to hunt ducks. You got 2 minutes until shooting light. You can hear them all behind you, getting ready to fly. You're getting ready to load your gun, and the first thing you do before that sun comes up is you let out one of the most heartfelt prayers.
Yep.
It hits different. Yep. There's something completely different about being out there on the water, talking with Jesus, and just getting ready. I can't explain it to you. You just got to get out there and do it.
Yeah.
If it's something that you haven't done before or you don't have the funds to do, find someone who does. I didn't have the funds to go waterfowl hunting. I didn't have anything to go get started. It took Caleb saying, I have everything you need. Get your license, show up.
Yep.
You got to find someone out there who's willing to take that next step with you, because I would have never done it if he didn't.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's going to be people that you're going to know out there. You're going to meet teenagers, young men, young women who just, they talk about being involved in it, but they just don't have the resources to do it. And it's up to us guys that have the resource to pass it along and say, all right, I will provide this for you to be able to go. And it definitely brought James into the sport, and I know it'll bring more people into the sport. And I hope you all enjoy this time. We're hopefully going to be dropping quite a few episodes here pretty quick. Should be a good time. Obviously, we're a little cringy right now. This is our first time we've ever done this, so it should be fun. We're going to grow with each other. We're going to grow this podcast, and you guys are going to grow with us too. And we just appreciate you guys for coming in and listening. And hopefully we get a lot of regular people on here that enjoy listening to the podcast. Share us. Post us all over the place if you can. We appreciate it. Hopefully at some point we can get big enough to do giveaways and whatever else that we decide that we can do. But as we end this episode, I think we'll talk just real quick about where we're going to be hopefully going in the near future with this. Right now we're just doing audio, and hopefully soon we'll be doing dropping video.
We plan on doing some videos, and then I've never really touched a computer before. This is my first time. Hopefully we're going to do some lives. We're going to do some lives on the weekends on either Facebook Live or YouTube Live. Yep. Everything we plan on having posted on Spotify. We plan on posting it on YouTube. We have our own Facebook group called the Faith Fish and Feathers Podcast. It's got our logo on it. We're going to be posting, hunting memes there. We're going to be posting updates on our podcast. We're going to be asking everybody questions. So go ahead and feel free to join that. It's the Faith Fish and Feathers Podcast.
Yeah, and hopefully
if you want to message us, we'll answer your questions if you got any for us.
And hopefully merch. Hopefully merch will be dropping once we get a pretty good following and stuff. We'll hopefully drop some merch.
We've got it all designed already. We're just waiting for you guys to want it.
Exactly. So you're gonna have to want it. Let us know that you want it. But it's going to be a good time. So as we close, we're going to go ahead and close in prayer. And then hopefully we'll see you guys here real soon. So, all right. Father, we thank you for this day. We thank you for this outlet that you've given us, Lord, to talk about hunting, to talk about the passions that you've given us and fishing and trapping and the outdoors, Lord. Lord, we ask that you would just bring the followers that are right for us, Lord. And Lord, I ask that you just help us to be educational to the people out there that want to know and want to learn. Lord, we ask that you would just continue to help us through each and every single one of our days. We'd help, each and every one of our listeners, Lord, that you would just touch them and help them, Lord, to be able to get through their day, their work weeks, Lord. I hope you all have a blessed day. And Lord, we thank you for everything that you've given us in this life, because we wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you, Father, and we appreciate it. In your name, Lord, amen.
Amen.
All right, you guys. Until next time on the Faith Fish and Feathers Podcast, this is Caleb.
And this is James.
We're signing out. See you guys.
Have a good day, y'all.
Got him. Limit. That's it.